we are talking about your objectives, of course, we know that we would always be including these 3 domains of learning. Okay, these three different forms of your domains, now 3 different forms of objectives, and you have your cognitive domain, you have your affective domain, and of course you have your psychomotor domain. Okay, now a very good lesson plan, I'm not sure in your part, no, I don't know if during your student teaching time you were asked to always address these 3 different domains. When I was practice teaching, when I was student teaching, my supervisor would always ask us to write at least 1 objective under each domain. Okay, so whenever you have a lesson, you should always have 3 objectives, okay, at least. So 1 would be for cognitive, the other one would be for affective, and the last one should be for psychomotor, okay, or it might be the other way around, no, it's not in a particular order, but you should always address these 3 domains, okay. That is also so that your learning, the learning of your students would be holistic, okay, so you're not only addressing their cognitive needs, not only trying to enrich their minds, you're also trying to teach them to have the emotions, the values that they need, and of course, so that they can also have the different skills that they all need so that they can be successful in life. Okay, so these are the 3 different domains of objectives that we have. Let's go to the first domain. Okay, you are all very familiar with our cognitive domain by Bloom, of course, and as revised by his student, si Anderson. Okay, in 1956, si Bloom ay naglabas nitong cognitive domain, different levels in the cognitive domain. And of course, we have the 6 different levels there. You have knowledge, which is the lowest, and you have comprehension. The next, you have application. The first 3 here, the lowest 3 steps or levels that we have here are what we call your lots. Okay, these are just the lots. When you say lots, these are the lower order thinking skills. Okay, lower order thinking skills lamang ito. But we'd want our students to, of course, obtain or attain the HOTS. So yung HOTS mo dito would be the next 3 levels. That's your analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Okay, evaluation being the highest in the old Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so ano itong knowledge? Whenever you say knowledge, this is the basic. Okay, so this is the lowest level in Bloom's taxonomy, the old version. So old version ng cognitive taxonomy ni Bloom, your knowledge level is the lowest. Okay, so your verbs here would just be to name, to identify, to list. Okay, so simple recall lamang ito. Recall lamang yung knowledge mo. Very, very fast, very, very easy. That's your knowledge level. Now, for the second level, your comprehension here, this is now termed as understand, no? So understanding itong iyong comprehension. In comprehension, the student is now able to paraphrase. Okay, so the student can already give you the definition of a term, of a word using his own meaning, okay, or using his own words. Okay, so hindi na knowledge level lamang na memorize lamang niya, parot lamang siya, no, binabalik lamang niya kung anong sinabi mong definition. In comprehension, he can already paraphrase, he can already explain something, a term, a topic, using his own words. Okay, so that's comprehension. Of course, we are all very familiar with the term application. When you say application, you are able to transfer learning. Okay, so whatever it is that you've learned in a certain scenario, once you see or once you are in another situation which has some characteristics that are the same with your previous experience, then you'd be able to apply your knowledge. Okay, you'd be able to apply whatever it is that you've learned inside the classroom. Okay, that is also a very good point in learning. Okay, your students should be able to apply whatever it is that you've taught them inside the classroom. But we have to remember again, knowledge, comprehension, application are just the lots. Okay, so these are just lower order thinking skills. Now going up here, you start with analysis. Okay, now analysis and synthesis are pretty much the opposite. Okay, opposite itong dalawa. Sabi ng analysis mo, you break down a whole into the specific parts. Okay, so analysis in Filipino, in Tagalog, this would be paghihimay. Hinihimay-himay mo, no? That's your analysis. You analyze something, you analyze what happens. Meron tayong, marami kang kakilalang ganito, no? On Facebook, marami kang friends na ganito. Pag merong NBA game, no? Nagiging sport analyst. Pag kakatapos lamang yung Miss Universe, nagiging beauty pageant analyst, no? Pag merong any event, palagi siyang nagiging analyst, hinihimay-himay niya, palagi siyang may opinion, no? Hinihimay-himay niya kung ano nangyari. So that is analysis. You are breaking down a whole into its specific parts. Hinihimay-himay mo, tinitingnan mo lahat-lahat, binubusisi mo yung iba't ibang parts ng isang bagay. Okay, so that's analysis. Now, as I've mentioned, synthesis here, it's the opposite. And synthesis is very beautiful, okay? When you say synthesis, if in analysis you have a whole and you separate the different parts of this whole, in synthesis you put together the different parts to create a whole, okay? Now, it is very important for you to know, it's very important for you to remember that you cannot call it synthesis if you are not creating something new. Okay, it's not synthesis if you are not creating something new. So say you are teaching biology 1, okay, say I'm teaching biology 1, and I ask my students to explain or to talk about the different steps in photosynthesis. Okay, this actually cannot be considered as synthesis. Hindi siya mako-consider na synthesis. Bakit? Because the student did not create something new. Okay, it is not something new. The student is just merely trying to recall whatever it is. It might have been given by the teacher, maaring verbatim, no? Word for word, yung pagkakasulat niya, kung anong naalala niyang lumabas sa bunganga ng teacher. Maari din namang comprehension level lamang siya, no? It's paraphrasing. The student is just writing the definition of the term, the explanation of the process of photosynthesis using his or her own words. But it's not entirely synthesis, because the student there is not creating something new. Okay, so again, very important for you to remember that when you say synthesis, you should be creating something new. All right, now for evaluation here, evaluation, of course, it's the highest level in the old Bloom's taxonomy. And sabi ng evaluation here, you are judging, you are criticizing, you are critiquing. Okay, so that's defending. You are defending, say, a part whenever you have your debate. No, that's evaluation. Okay, you are analyzing you are analyzing different facts. You are criticizing things. You are defending something. Okay, that's evaluation. Judgment, putting forth your judgment. That's already evaluation. Okay, so these are the different levels according to the old Bloom's taxonomy. Now, sa inyo namang new version ng Bloom's taxonomy mo, no? This was by Anderson na, ni-revise na ito ni Anderson. Instead of using your nouns, instead of using just nouns right here in your 1956 na taxonomy, in 2001, they have started using your verbs. Okay, so action word na, remember, understand, apply, analyze. Now, very noteworthy, a very big change here is the fact that now synthesis, aka also known as create, is now the highest level of your revised Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, so it is now the highest level. Your evaluate has been demoted. Okay, binaba yung evaluate ng isang level now. So pretty much it's just the same. Okay, so basically parehas lamang siya. Ginawa lamang nila ay sinwitch nila yung create na synthesis mo, yun na yung highest. Evaluate mo na ngayon yung second to the highest. Of course, instead of using your nouns here, they've started using your verbs. Okay, so verb forms na. All right, any reactions, people? I cannot see any reactions in the chat box on Facebook and also on your Facebook Live, also on Zoom. Okay, wala akong nakikitang nagre-react. Andyan pa ba kayo? Tulog na ba kayo? Okay, I know umaga dyan ngayon, no? Dito sa amin ay gabi. All right, so if you're still okay, if you can understand, if you like it, you can just hit the heart icon or maybe the thumbs up icon. I believe you can also send the thumbs up sign or click the thumbs up sign na may icon din dito sa Zoom. Okay, so that maganahan naman tayo. Okay, now we go to the next taxonomy that we have here. And of course, this is your affective domain. Okay, so this is affective domain. This was by Krathwohl. Okay, now in here, you see 5 different levels. The lowest level that you have here would be receiving or attending. Okay, so receiving, passive lamang siya. Nakikinig ka lamang, no? You're willing to be aware of the setting or situation. You give attention by choice. Okay, you're open to experience. Okay, pero nakikinig ka lamang, wala ka pang masyado positive na response. No? For example, tinanong ka ng kaibigan mo, open-minded ka ba? Okay, tapos yung kaibigan mo, ayan na, nag-pitch na, no? Nag-pitch na siya. Nagkita kayo sa Starbucks, kung open yung Starbucks, or maybe sa pambansang tambayan, no? Na, sa 7-Eleven. Sabi ng kaibigan mo, open-minded ka ba, no? You're just receiving, you're just attending, you're just listening, okay? But you're not really reacting. Wala ka pang masyadong reaction, no? Wala ka pang masyadong response. So that's the lowest level of our affective domain. Now, the second level that we have here is responding. As you know, responding, the noun word for this, or the noun form for this would be response. Okay, you reply, respond. This is willingly participating, being obedient, volunteering, finding satisfaction in participating. You are ready to respond. Okay, now, nakinig ka sa iyong kaibigan na nagsasabi, nagpipitch na, open-minded ka ba? At now, medyo nagandahan ka. Okay, sabi mo, okay, ganun pala, marami ka na ngayong questions. So papaano? Magkano yung kapital ko, no? Magkano yung kailangan kong iambag? Magkano yung kailangan kong ilagay muna, no, na savings, kunwari, para makapag-start ako in this business, for example, para makapag-join ako. That's responding. Okay, you're already replying, you're already answering the different questions, or you may even be asking the questions. Okay, yan yung responding, be responsive. Now, the third level that you have here is valuing. Sabi ng valuing mo, you are motivated to invest. You choose to behave in a certain way frequently. You begin to identify with a behavior and you commit to it. Okay, now when you say valuing here, meron ka ng value. Okay, sabi ng kaibigan mo, para maging successful ka dito, kailangan mong magkopya ng 5 CAPTCHA. CAPTCHA ba? Tama ba? Tama ba yung pronunciation? Yung mga nakikita kong online business ngayon, ng CAPTCHA. Kailangan mong magkopya ng 5 CAPTCHA every day. Okay? If you try to do it every day, pina-follow mo talaga siya, you are committed to behave as such. Okay? In such a way, then that would already be valuing. Okay, you begin to identify with this behavior, you commit to it. That's valuing. Okay, so valuing na yan. Now, once you get to organizing, your values here become systematic. You can already compare and contrast values and choices. You begin to order and prioritize your values. You choose to commit to certain values and behavior. Ngayon sa organizing mo, you can already organize the different values that you have, okay? So alam mo na kung kailangan kung saan yung kailangan mong i-prioritize, okay? So sabi mo kailangan ko munang unahin to bago yung CAPTCHA, or kailangan ko munang umattend ng review, makinig kay Teacher Claire bago manood ng probinsyano. Meron pa yatang probinsyano hanggang ngayon, no? So that's organizing. You already know how to prioritize. Alam mo na kung anong uunahin mo. Hindi lamang nag-commit ka sa isang value, sa isang gawain, sa isang behavior, but now you have already arranged the different behaviors that you have, the different values that you have, and now you already know which ones to prioritize. Now, the highest level here is characterizing. Sabi ng characterizing mo, you act consistently due to your internal belief. You can articulate a philosophy or worldview. You can break down complex situations and respond accordingly based on values, develops and lives by a code of personal behavior. So characterizing mo, nasa character mo na. Okay? In character ka na, kumbaga. Okay? You already act consistently kahit walang tumitingin, walang nakatingin, ginagawa mo na siya dahil parte na siya ng iyong character. Ingrained na siya in your person. It's already part of your person. It's already part of who you are. That's characterizing. So again, these are the 5 different levels of your affective domain according to Krathwohl. A very common question in the LET with regard to this would be, usually yung LET lang naman ay would ask you which among the different levels of affective domain is the lowest. Okay, and of course your answer would be receiving. Sometimes the let would not give you receiving. Okay, and so the next level that you can choose would be responding. Okay, so the next level would be responding. So again, these are the 5 different levels according to Krathwohl's affective domain. Now to our next domain here, of course, your psychomotor domain. This right here is by Simpson. You are you have arranged the different psychomotor skills here from the simplest to the most complex. Okay, so pinaka-simple papunta sa pinaka-komplikado. Okay, so the first one that you have would be perception. You are able to distinguish, to hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. Okay, so perception mo, these are the things that you can do using the different senses. Nakikita mo lamang siya, naririnig mo siya, nahahawakan mo siya, naaamoy mo siya, no? Perception. These are things that you use, or these are things that you feel with the use of your different sense organs. Now, set the next level, you're able to adjust, to approach, to locate, to place, to position, to prepare. Okay, now this is a step higher than your perception. Alam mo na kung paano ka mag-adjust, kung medyo parang matutumba ka, alam mo na kung paanong gagawin mo para makapag-adjust ka sa iyong pagtayo, no? Alam mo na kung anong approach yung gagamitin mo. You know how to position yourself, how to place yourself, how to get prepared for a task. Okay, remember this is psychomotor. So these are usually our body skills, no? So skills mo ito. It might be your gross motor skills, yung malalaking steps, malalaking movement natin, or it might even be your fine motor skills, no? Those that are just using your fingers, your phalanges, for example. Now, the next level that you have here is guided response. By the term guided, you're simply copying whatever it is that was shown you. Okay, so you copy, you duplicate, you imitate. Say you are just starting to learn how to do the ballet. Okay, so tinuruan ka ng teacher mo ng first few steps of ballet. You are just copying, you are just imitating, no? So that's guided response. Now, for the 4th step that you have here, mechanism, you adjust, you build, you illustrate, you can already manipulate, and most importantly, you can already mix and set up. Okay, so you can already mix the different skills that you have. Say in your guided response kanina, marunong ka lamang mag-dribble. Okay, marunong ka lamang mag-dribble. Naka-learn ka na kung paano mag-dribble ng bola. Sa mechanism mo, you're able to do different skills already. Okay, you're able to perform different skills already. Marunong ka mag-dribble, marunong ka na mag-layup. Okay, so you can already mix a lot of different skills. You can already set different skills up. Okay, so that's mechanism. Now, adaptation mo, you're able to adapt, to build, to change, to develop, and to supply. So say, going back to our example of a basketball player. Kanina sa guided response, no, kinokopya lamang niya kung anong pinapagawa sa kanya, dribble lamang ng bola, for example, kinokopya niya yung coach niya kung paano mag-layup. Now, mechanism, alam na niya kung paano i-mix yung dalawang movements na to. Sa adaptation, he already knows how to adapt. Say, sabi go ahead and show me how to dribble the ball and do the layup. Okay, so marunong na siyang mag-combine ng dalawang movements na yon, dalawang skills na yon, through mechanism. And now sa adaptation, once nakita niyang merong tao sa harap niya, no, magli-lay up siya, merong tao sa harap niya, alam na niya kung paanong gagawin niya para mag-change, mag-adapt, okay, mag-develop ng kanyang skill, no? So alam na niya, hindi ako po pwedeng mag-lay up na diretso na usual kong ginagawa nang walang tao sa harap ko dahil ngayon nga merong naka-block. Okay, so meron nakadepensa. So what I'll do is that I will change my approach. Okay, I will try to adapt. I will try to modify my steps, for example. Okay, so that's the term adaptation. Yan po yung tinatawag natin, adaptation. Now, the last step that you have here, this is already the highest, this is origination. You are able to create. Now, pansinin nyo, parehas din po siya ng inyong cognitive domain. Creation is also the highest level in your psychomotor domain. Okay, creation. You are now able to construct your own steps. For example, say, yung mga very famous nating basketball players, they already have their own tricks. Okay, they already have their own moves na minsan ginagaya ng iba. Or say, Manny Pacquiao, no? Meron na naman siyang fight in August, no? Manny Pacquiao, he already has his own moves, his own techniques. Meron siyang sarili niyang step. Okay, that's already origination. So minsan tinitingnan ng kalaban The person, the opponent is going to try to observe or try to watch the former videos or previous videos of Manny Pacquiao na para makita niya kung paano ginagawang steps ni Manny Pacquiao. Okay, so that's origination. So again, very noteworthy. Your origination is the highest level, also the highest level in your psychomotor domain. Okay. If you understand, if you are still okay, please give me a thumbs up sign, or maybe even give me, hit any of your icons, any of your emojis in your Facebook page, because I can't see any comment. Ayun, ang daming heart. Maraming salamat po. All right, so those are the 3 different domains that we have. Again, if you start teaching in the future, in the near future, once you become an LPT, marahil yung iba sa inyo nagtuturo na, try to address each of these domain. Hindi lamang puro cognitive, okay? We'd want to develop students who are holistic, because we don't need people who are just smart, okay? We don't need people who are just all head, no heart, no hands, okay? So always try to address these 3 different domains whenever you're teaching them para maging holistic yung ating estudyante. Sample question number 1. Sample question frames as, what would you infer from? What ideas can you add to? And how would you create A? Belong to what level in the old Bloom's taxonomy? Is it letter A, application, letter B, synthesis, letter C, comprehension, or letter D, analysis? And let's take a look at the answer that we have. Okay, correct answer here would be, let's take a look at your answer. It's letter B. Okay, good job. You are correct. That's synthesis. Okay, your hints here would be, what can you add to? How would you create? Remember, creation, that is the new term that we are using now in the revised Bloom's taxonomy. Pero sabi dito kasi in the old Bloom's taxonomy. And so our answer would be letter B, that's synthesis. Okay, if tama ka, mag-click ng inyong heart icon, or mag-send ng inyong thumbs up sign. All right, we go to sample question number 2. After reading and paraphrasing Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, Teacher Mark asked the class to share any insight derived from the poem. In which domain in Bloom's taxonomy of objectives is the term paraphrase? Okay, I have mentioned this several times. Is it letter A, analysis, letter B, comprehension, letter C, application, or letter D, synthesis? What's the answer? Your answer, of course, would be letter B, that's comprehension. Okay, so letter B, comprehension po ang tamang sagot. Again, when you say comprehension, the student is able to paraphrase, no? The student is able to give you the definition of a word using, or definition of a term using his own words. Okay, so that's comprehension. Tama, ang gagaling naman ng mga taga-bulso. Okay, now, sample question number 3. Under the affective domain of learning, what includes active attention to stimuli such as acquiescence, willingness to answer, and feelings of satisfaction? Is it letter A, organization, letter B, valuing, letter C, responding, letter D, characterization? The correct answer would be letter C, responding. That is responding. Responding po would be the correct answer, not valuing. Hindi po valuing. Okay, your terms here or your hints would be you are willing to answer, you have feelings of satisfaction. Letter C would be the correct choice. All right, sample question number 4. Which objective in the psychomotor domain is in the highest level? Is it letter A, to play the piano skillfully? Letter B, to endure fatigue in the entire duration of a game? Letter C, to discriminate shapes by touch? Or letter D, to move hands and legs in a coordinate fashion? And the correct answer, of course, would be, correct answer right here is letter A, to play the piano skillfully.